Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Triple N Media. I am Dr. NIK NIKAM. In this presentation, we are going to look at how to become a professional host or a guest on a webinar. As the COVID world has brought webinars into wide acceptance all over the globe, we are going to share some important tips that we have used in preparing educational videos, talk shows, and also production of YouTube videos, which we have on our YouTube channel. We have more than 1,400 videos which accent our experience here in the United States. You can take a look at those. But most importantly, I'm going to share with you some of the lessons I have learned that can be used in webinars where you can look like a professional TV host or a guest. Okay, let us continue. The agenda for this presentation will include preparation, and preparation. That is the most important fundamental thing whether you are going to be a host or a guest. You have to understand the host may have spent 10 to 40 hours to prepare for a 30-minute webinar, and you as a guest should have the same amount of interest and inquisitiveness to be a stylish professional guest on the webinar. We'll talk about the preparation. Then I'm going to talk about hardware. The hardware that you probably already have at your home. We're talking about computers, laptops, headphones, and webcams. We're going to talk about the pros and cons of various types of devices that we can use to present ourselves as professional host or a guest. Next, I'm going to talk about room, lighting, and ambient sound. It is exceedingly important if you talk to a video producer. The most important thing they will tell you is lighting. You cannot see a person sitting in dark. You cannot read lips of a person sitting in dungeons. You need proper lighting. It applies whether you are a host or a guest. Then we are going to talk about you, the individual who is going to be the host or the guest, so that people can focus on you and your message more so than what is happening behind you in the background. I guess you get the message. Okay, let's continue here. Preparation. Let us say if you are being invited as an expert on a topic and you are going to be the guest on that webinar. If you are going to be the guest on the webinar, you need to spend an extensive amount of time to prepare for the webinar. If the webinar starts at 8 p.m., you need to be on the webinar 15 minutes before the webinar begins and not text message the host at 8:05 p.m. as what is the password, what is the login website. You need to have all the information. You probably received the login website and the password in an email. I would suggest you have that email opened so that you can copy and paste those in your web browser so that you can log in within seconds rather than wasting vital time when the webinar time has already started and you are not even able to find where that login information is. The host is too busy getting other things done and he or she has no time to send you the login information again. Number two, if you are going to be a guest, you are an expert, make sure you have all your information typed up in 20 to 24 point big bold lines so that you, as you are talking to your audience, you have all your points on which you want to make your presentation. If the guest sends you an agenda, make sure you have printed that agenda and it is in front of you. Because when you are using your computer to make a presentation, when you are trying to make a presentation using your computer or a laptop, you cannot be looking for the agenda. because that's going to distract you and the audience. As I said, you need to log in at least 10 to 15 minutes before so that the host can check your sound system, check your video system, so that you are as good as a professional host who is hosting the webinar. Now let's talk about the hardware. A lot of people think they can use their smartphones and be an expert on a webinar. Please don't do that. If you are a webinar expert on a topic, and if you're paid for your time, you better behave like a professional. Otherwise, please don't accept the invitation. You need to have a professionally set table or a desk where you can present your information in an eloquent manner, in an exquisite ambience that is attractive to the audience. Here is a setup of my webinar or video recording studio. Very simple. All I have is my regular computer monitor here. Then I have a webcam. Also, as you can see, I have monitor speakers. Of course, I have a professional microphone here, which is hooked up to a separate sound card called the Focusrite 2x2, which gives professional quality audio. But you don't need that one. I'm going to talk about the headphones in a second. Once you have this setup, lighting. I already talked about the importance of lighting. You can buy these little lamps for $15-20 in Walmart or a Target. Buy some heavy frosted glass. So when you put LED light bulbs, 40 watts or 60 watts, then you get professional looking ambience. And as you can see, the presentation I'm making is sitting right here in this chair, and look at the effect of lighting on my face and also in the background. So lighting is exceedingly important. This I have learned from doing more than 500 interviews for our N YouTube channel. You can watch that. As I said, we have close to 1,400 videos on our YouTube channel. So you can turn your desktop here into a professional webinar host or a guest. I strongly recommend you use either a computer or a laptop when you are doing the presentation as a host or as a guest, because there are times when you have to open multiple windows, like you may have to check the email for the login information, and you may have to have your PowerPoint presentation open, or you may want to pull up a file to share with your audience, and you cannot do that on a smartphone. I'm sorry, the smartphone is not going to cut. If you are a host or if you are a guest giving expert information, please don't rely on a cell phone. The connection issues are not reliable, and the audio quality may be going in and out. Plus, when you're trying to talk into the cell phone, people can't even see your face. You see what I mean? I'm not making fun of myself, but I'm just telling you that when you use a cell phone, people are more likely to hold it in such a manner you can hardly see half their face, or sometimes all you are seeing is their bald head. Yeah? How do you like my bald head? Audience don't want to see your bald head. They want to see your face. They want to see your message. They want to listen to your message. Okay, now let's talk about headphone. Please don't use laptops built-in microphone, because of the distance from where you're sitting, it creates a hollow sound. It also creates echoes. That means it sounds like your sound is reverberating, which becomes muddy, and the audience won't be able to capture the essence of your message while they are being distracted by this echo and scratchy noises. So if you're going to be a professional host or a guest, make sure you have a headset. Let me show you what I have here. I have a headphone here which I use when I do webinars. Of course, I use the professional microphone which is right next to me, so that I don't have to have a mic coming through the headset. But if you want to be using your laptop, I would suggest you spend about $25 to $100 and get a beautiful headset which will log onto your computer or the laptop using an USB output. When you do that, you have secure connection. Your audio is going to be crystal clear. You also can hear other members talking, so there is no question of sound interference. There's no question of scratchy noises when you're talking to the audience. Next, I want to talk to you about webcam. Yes, you have a 1080p webcam built into your computer monitor or the laptop, but let me tell you, the advantage of having a separate Logitech 920, that's what I have. It costed me like $75 when I bought it, but now because of this COVID webinar explosion, the prices have gone up to like $120. But I would suggest you buy a professional webcam. When you tilt your computer monitor, the webcam is not going to move with the computer monitor or the laptop screen. Secondly, since the laptop screen is at an angle, like it is at an angle, you always look like you're either looking at the sky or you're looking somewhere on the floor. So the webcam has to be parallel to our eye level. That's when everything looks straightforward, like you see in professional television studios. So if you have this one, in addition to that, since you have these high power lights, I mean, they're very cheap. High power lights, you can adjust the lightings, the brightness, the color intensity, and also white balance, so that you get the right kind of ambience you want to present. Do you want to present like a light blue ambience, or you want to present it like a nice warm colors? You can do that with the webcam. That's an important thing to keep in mind. As I said, all of these things don't cost you very much, because once you have your studio set up, and you'll be ready to go in less than a minute. And 10 minutes before the webinar is supposed to start, you go to your email, log on to the website that was given in the email, put in the password, and make sure you stay connected with the host until the meeting begins, so that you both can troubleshoot all the different audio video problems, so that when your turn comes, you're going to look as professional or maybe more professional than the webinar host himself or herself. Let's see what else we got. We talked about the desk, the appropriate height. I talked about the lighting, and I want to talk to you about ambient sound. You're trying to make a very important point, and in the background you hear either a kid is screaming. Boy, that's not a very good sign, is it? So using a headphone will prevent you from having all these unnecessary noises. When you are making your presentation, make sure your cell phone is on mute. Because when you're making a presentation, you shouldn't be looking at your phone and trying to see who messaged you and what is the message, and you're trying to message those people while you're trying to get your message to the audience. What are the audience seeing? The audience are looking at your stupidity. They're not going to sit and listen to you again. So make sure that your presentation is focused on the audience. That's the most important thing. That's why you keep your phone away or put it on mute, so that your full attention focused on your audience and your message. Dress, glasses, and backdrops. These are all exceedingly important. You don't want to look like you're sitting in a street. You don't want to look like you're sitting next to a swimming pool where some pretty ladies are walking behind. Who do you think they're going to be focusing on? All right, so you need to be sitting in your study room, and you want to make sure your back wall is appropriately decorated. Otherwise, you don't want to have a bland back wall. Next thing, dress. Please avoid wearing striped dress. Striped and checks create a zigzag appearance, and every time you move, people start feeling dizzy and they are not able to focus on your message. It is highly distractive. Wear single color, any color is fine, but you want to make sure you are contrasted from the backdrop that you have. So you don't want to wear the shirt that matches your wall because you're going to blend with the wall. So you're not going to be distinct from your backdrop. Next thing is, let's say you are using professional glasses and you can see these glasses can create fuzziness and your eyes may not be clearly visible. But I have a little trick. If you don't need a glass for a close-up, then you can use just a frame. Like, you see, these frames are hollow. I just bought them for like $10 from Walmart. These are all like sunglasses. So I just put this on just for decoration to make it look like I'm more professional than what I'm supposed to be or what I'm really qualified to be. All I have is an MD and a MHA degree. That doesn't qualify me to be a world's expert on everything, but it does make a difference. If you feel like you're missing something without your glasses, just get these little frames without any glasses and you will look cool. And if you do have to wear glasses, please make sure that you clean your eyeglasses with the lens cleaning solution just before you get on the program. Once you get on the program, make sure that your 30 minutes are glued to that chair, and not only are you focused on what your presentation is going to be, but you're focused on every other person who is talking so that you can directly address them during your presentation. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is a brief overview of some tips and tricks on how to be a professional webinar host or a guest. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you so much. I am Dr. Nik Nikam. You have been watching Triple N Talk Show, and we will see you next time.